CNN just put on Pete Hegseth at 8:04 a.m. Eastern Time sharp. It's a lot like 84 is in 1984, the book about the nation that's always at war, and the people know its nation's always at war, but they don't really know why. And those same people are ruled over by a very authoritarian government that keeps its people in check with screens. Of course, June 25th is George Orwell's birthday, the author of 1984, and that birthday is in 3 days. Remember, Orwell was a member of the Fabian Society, established in 1884, an offshoot of the Jesuits. And as we covered, the Jesuit fingerprints all over the U.S.'s strike in Iran. Case in point, it came 144 days before the Superior General's upcoming birthday, and of course, Jesuit order equals 144, like the United States of America. It also happened in Iran 222 days after his birthday, because it was June 21st in the U.S., June 22nd in Iran. But 222 days after his last birthday matters because Superior General equals 222, like order out of chaos. We talked about that in the morning when the story broke about the B-2 bombers being sent from Missouri's White Man Air Force Base to Guam. Guam equals 21, like war equals 21, like Jesuit equals 21. 21's the sixth triangular number. They sent 6 B-2s on a Saturn's day, when Saturn's the sixth planet, and Saturn's connected to death and judgment. War is death. It involves judgment. But yeah, with regards to the Jesuits, don't forget what day Pig, let's just call him Pig from Fox News, Pete Hegseth, he was picked on November 12th, the Superior General's birthday, by Donald Trump, who's Jesuit educated. And for the people who leave the comments like, blaming things on the Jesuits, the small caps must be proud. For all you guys who leave these comments, again, are you just hateful of a certain religious group and unknowing of history and the obvious rituals taking place in the present? Like, what is it? What is it that gets you out of your blame everything on small caps mindset? Did the small caps set up camp in Washington, D.C. once upon a time before the feds moved there, or was that the Jesuits? Does the world ever stop when a Netanyahu goes to D.C., or does it stop when the Pope shows up there, who the Jesuits serve? Are we on the small caps calendar, or are we on the Jesuit implemented calendar? The Gregorian calendar was implemented by the Jesuit priest Christopher Clavius. I don't know what it takes for people to acknowledge this. You know, you'll keep blaming this this religious group, but really, history points to this religious order that does serve the church, that's all over the world, that is much, much bigger than the small caps. Again, there weren't any founders blaming about, got to look out for the small hats. There wasn't any of that going on, but there were founders speaking out about how the nation could be subverted by the Jesuits. So you tell me what it is to you when Hegseth is picked on the Superior General's birthday by a Jesuit-educated president. You tell me what it is when Afghanistan's government collapses on the Jesuit order's birthday. Not to mention Trump's brother died on that day as well, a handful of years back, August 15th. But, yeah. Here, just to run over a few more quick things, because I am working on this in real time. The Jesuit motto, Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, 172. Trump bombs Iran, at least so we're told. It's kind of like 1984 where you don't really know. Have you guys seen any proof? But on the 172nd day of the year, Trump bombs, Ad Merum Dei Gloriam, 172. It was June 21st in the U.S., June 22nd in Iran. And a lot of people are saying, how come you're not talking about it happening on the solstice? It didn't happen on the solstice. This year, the solstice fell on June 20th. So, again, you guys got to get your information correct. This year, the solstice fell on June 20th. It typically is the 21st, though. June 22nd was the 153rd day of Trump being in office. June 21st was the 153rd day of Trump being in office. June 22nd would have been 153 days after he took office. or the 154th day in office. Remember, 201 is the 154th composite number. State of Israel is 201, like the Jesuit order. Drop the Jesuit order alone is 153, like Holy Bible, like the Illuminati. Like these people use the Bible like a playbook because the church is responsible for the numbering of the Bible, which happened around the same time English was standardized with 26 letters, which happened around the same time the Jesuit calendar was implemented. June 22nd was also 64 days after Khomeini's birthday. And remember, his birthday is April 19th, the anniversary of Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, being recognized as the superior general. 64 days after his birthday matters. It reminds you of the spaces on a chessboard, and these people are playing chess Kabbalistically with this code of letters, numbers, and dates. Israel equals 64, so does Zion, so does Kill. Again, June 22nd was 222 days after the Superior General's birthday. Superior General 222, like order out of chaos. If you read my last book, Number Games, that 222 number is massive. June 21st, as we talked about in the morning with the B-2 bomber story, that's the day leaving 193 days left in the year, which is the 44th prime. Remember, Hegseth was picked at age 44. Superior General, or not Superior General, Secretary of Defense also equates to 193. But again, Israel 44, Zion 44, military 44. If you're going, wait a minute, you said Israel and Zion equals 64. Again, gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. It does equal 64 and 44. We talked about how the June 13th attack on the day leaving 201 days left in the year on the 4th anniversary of Netanyahu stepping down, how that was the date with 64 and 44 date numerology for the month. Next month, it'll be July 12th. Another interesting date. But June 21st was also 144 days before Arturo Sosa's upcoming birthday. Jesuit order equals 144, like the United States of America. Deadly number. RFK dead at 1:44 a.m. JFK dead 144 days from meeting with the Pope. Lincoln shot on the 14th day of the 4th month. It was also 56 days before the Jesuit order's birthday, and of course, Society of Jesus, their formal title's 56. For the week ahead, June 23rd leaves 191 days in the year. Society of Jesus, 191. June 25th is George Orwell's birthday. He died the year of the Korean War, which began on his birthday. June 26th is Netanyahu's 911th day back in office. Day can be written 26/6. Isus Hominum Salvator equals 266, Jesuit motto. June 27th leaves 187 days in the year. Society of Jesus, 187. Washington, D.C., 187. June 27th will also be 911 days after Netanyahu took office, whereas June 26th is his 911th day in office. And June 26th and 27th, the dates with the 9/11 connection, it's also the Islamic New Year. We'll see what that means. Islamic New Year equals 86. Khomeini's 86 years old. Talking about dropping the bomb. The first time that happened was on August 6th. Japan got 86th. Comey said 8647, 8,647 days after 9/11, and then said he'd never heard of the term 86 before. Apparently the only guy on earth in the English-speaking world. But yeah, definitely very interesting week ahead, the way the numbers line up. Knowing that the Jesuits gave us the language and the calendar, and they do use this system like it's some kind of game board. And don't forget who told you the day that Netanyahu came back on 12/29/2022. That was Albert Pike's birthday, the man who published the letter about 3 world wars to come, with the third being centered on political Zionism. And that letter was published August 15th, 1871, on the Jesuit order's birthday. So again, for all you guys who downplay the significance of the Jesuits, again, you need to, learn something. Stop living in ignorance. And like I said last night, on this same day, Texas passed the 10 Commandments bill. Remember, Netanyahu came back on 12/29, which is also the state of Texas's birthday, the Lone Star State, the state with the flag with a star, a lot like Israel. But of course, 10 Commandments is Old Testament. And you know what we're doing in Iran has everything to do with that very Old Testament nation, if you know what I mean. So, oh yeah, and for one more point, again, Trump just turned 79 years old last week on the flag's birthday, on the Army's birthday, June 14th, having his military parade right before all this kicks off, while military's all over the streets of the U.S. because of the protests. But yeah, Trump just turned 79. Again, he said it's the golden era. Gold is the 79th element on the periodic table. Black gold is oil, and Iran's rich with it. The Iranian Revolution was in 79, which was 46 years ago. 46. Remember, that's how many books are in the Catholic Old Testament. The word religion's 46, so is Temple Mount, so is Catholic, so is Ordo Ab Chao, so is chaos. Ordo Ab Chao is the Latin for order out of chaos, which also goes with the 222 thing, with how this is lined up with the superior generals. So we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time.
This man saved thousands of lives at this stadium, even though it looks like he just climbed onto the roof and is running from the police. That's not the case. He's actually a worker there, and when he saw the roof had caught fire, he quickly climbed up and put it out.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. This morning, June 22nd, 2025, a Sunday, a very Catholic day. Again, a lot of people forget that we're on the Catholic Church's calendar, and they moved the day of worship to Sunday, and the Catholic Church began by worshiping the sun, and they called it Sol Invictus. But anyhow, Pete Hegseth, the man with the Templar tattoos all over his body, addressed the strike in Iran, and this morning he let the media know that it was called Operation Midnight Hammer. And I want to talk about why this is so perfect. Again, Hegseth was picked to be the Secretary of Defense on November 12th, the Superior General's birthday. That's the leader of the Jesuits, who are the modern-day Templars. That's why the Templar cross is in the middle of their logo, like the Templar tattoo is on Hegseth's body. But first, this part. Again, if you look at media, you'll see some refer to it as Operation Midnight Hammer, and you'll see some just write Midnight Hammer, right? Dropping the operation part. First of all, Operation Midnight Hammer equates to 129. And notice, from Netanyahu coming back into power on Albert Pike's birthday anniversary, the same Albert Pike who wrote the letter about 3 world wars to come, back on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, 1871. It's the day that letter's dated. And how the Third World War would be centered on political Zionism. Again, since Netanyahu came back on Albert Pike's birthday to the strike on Iran, which was June 22nd local time, it was 129 weeks and days. Remember, 129 is the number 201 in base 8 counting, just like how Israel attacked Iran on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. Again, the Jesuit order equals 201, State of Israel equals 201. If you're new here, long history with the Jesuits in Israel and 201 rituals. It's a long, long history, including Netanyahu coming back on 1229, a lot like 1229, the 201st prime number. A lot like how he stepped down on June 13th, 4 years earlier, the day leaving 201 days left in the year. So there's that piece. But then notice Midnight Hammer alone. It equals 79, right? Again, the Iranian Revolution was in 79. Jesuit-educated Donald Trump just turned 79 on June 14th. The day after the attack in Israel. In Gematria, Society of Jesus equals 79. That is the formal title for the Jesuits who have the Templar cross in their logo. Excuse me, allergy season. Knights Templar equates to 79. Again, Christianity equals 79. Again, Christian prophecy, Jewish prophecy, aligned through this destructive biblical moment that a lot of people are cheering on. A lot of people think that this is the sign that Jesus is about to return and the Jewish Messiah will arrive, which will bring about the third temple, which a lot of people want to place where Al-Aqsa Mosque is on Temple Mount in Jerusalem. And remember, the reason modern-day Israel is where it is because of the Templars, who said that's where the temples were, the Herod's temple and Solomon's temple. And they used Solomon's temple they used Al-Aqsa Mosque and referred to it as Solomon's temple in the time of the Crusades. Again, Pete Hegseth has the Crusader tattoos on his body. If you're new here, this Gematria, it's very simple. It's based on the the alphabetic order. There's 4 ciphers based on the alphabetic order. Alphabetic order, A is 1 up to Z is 26. Reverse alphabetic order, Z is 1 back to A is 26, in both orders with numerology applied. June 22nd is the 173rd day of the year. Notice how Knights Templar is also 173. So you have Hegseth addressing the nation on June 22nd with his Templar tattoos. You have us attacking the U.S., or not Iran. And keep in mind, 173 is the 40th prime number. United States equals 40. U.S. equals 40. USA in reverse equals 40. Old Testament equals 40. Trump with a lot of parallels to Reagan, number 40. And if you saw what Trump said, he said they've been chanting death to America and Iran for 40 years. But anyway, that's back in the time of the Reagan administration. Remember, Reagan ended the 444-day Iranian hostage crisis on day 1 of his presidency. Straight from Hollywood. And anyway, the point I'm making is, like I said a million times, it's the church, the Catholic Church, that's behind all this. They gave us the language. They gave us the calendar. They synced up this system. They synced up these rituals. They've been making history this way ever since. You drop the Knights part, you just take the word Templar. Templar equals 85 alone, like the Jesuit motto, Isus Hominum Salvator. Don't forget October 7th, the day we invaded Afghanistan, also the day this war began in Israel, was the day leaving 85 days left in the year. The Templar prints have been there the whole time. And now we got a Secretary of Defense. By the way, Secretary of Defense equals 193. June 21st is the day leaving 193 days left in the year. It was still June 21st when we attacked. So, just think about how this all fits together. 193 is the 44th prime. Military equals 44. So does Israel. So does Netanyahu. So does Zion. Again, Hegseth was 44 years old when he was chosen. He just turned 45 at the beginning of this month, like how the last World War ended in 45, and Trump started out as number 45. As I mentioned yesterday in the first video I did, yesterday was 15 days after Hegseth's birthday, when war equals 15, and so does Guam, where we sent the B-2 bombers before they bombed Iran. Just to go back and remind you of this ritualism, this is the day Hegseth was picked, November 12th, which is the leader of the Jesuits' birthday. They referred to it as God-tier trolling while Trump was 78. Back in is the new Grover Cleveland, the first split-term president since Cleveland, when Trump had his convention in Cleveland in 2016. And we've been telling you for 4 years before this happened why they were going to reinstall him, because these are selections, not elections. And it's sad the American people don't know that. Let's not forget, just Elon Musk declared the world's richest man for the first time ever, January 7th, 2021, the 78th death anniversary of Nikola Tesla. And Trump's uncle, who worked for the FBI, did the audit of Tesla's papers when Tesla died, and then Musk joins with Trump while Trump's 78 years old, right, wearing an I'm Dark Mega, all Jesuit crap. 78 cards in the tarot deck, the relationship with the Scottish Rite and the Jesuits in 78. Hegseth, I forgot about that. Hegseth has the insignia of the 187th Infantry Regiment on his body, too. Remember, June 27th is going to leave 187 days left in the year. So later this week. And it's going to be the Islamic New Year, and it's also going to be 911 days since Netanyahu took office again. But yeah, Society of Jesus in Washington, D.C. both have that 187. So does Brotherhood of Death. That's Skull and Bones, who are modeled after the Templars. Their alias is Brotherhood of Death, which equals 187. Secretary of Defense is also 85, like Isus Hominum Salvator, like Templar, like the war began on October 7th, the day leaving 185 days left in the year. He was picked by Trump 159 days after his birthday, like Donald Trump's 159, as his Scottish Rite, as his New Testament, factoring in with this biblical prophecy, this great destruction in the end times is going to bring about the third temple, when they've been selling that coin in Israel for a long time with King Cyrus and Trump on one side and the third temple on the other, and it's used to raise funds to build the third temple. A lot of people want to build it where Al-Aqsa Mosque is. But yeah, this is my post from November, back when he was picked, and you can see how Pete Hegseth overlaps with the military. You can see how Secretary of Defense is 193, the 44th prime. You can go back to when Trump had his fallout with Mad Dog Mattis in 2018.
Oh shoot, it looks like some of the images. There it is. From Trump's birthday to the fallout was 193 days. His fallout with the Secretary of Defense, 193 days. Now we're bombing Iran on the day, leaving 193 days left in the air, synced up with the new Secretary of Defense with the Templar tattoos all over his body. Not to mention Mad Dog's 44 like Mattis, like military. This time around, it's a 44-year-old Hegseth. I mean, so I mean about just learning this knowledge. Oh, back then we were talking about the 159 thing. Little 159 ritual. Patrick Shanahan replaced him in a 159 ritual. Patrick Shanahan also with the 144 Jesuit order connection. By the way, the attack yesterday. I don't know why I didn't write I must have no oversight. Yeah, the attack yesterday was also 144 days before the Superior General's birthday when Jesuit orders 144, or on the 222nd day of his age. Superior General 222, Order Out of Chaos 222, Jesuit Order 144. How many more times you got to see it? You know what I mean? So, yeah, if you've missed all the work I've been doing, there's a lot to keep up with. But again, this is important information for people to know. And what drives me nuts are these, like, you know, the Young Turk's nephew, Hassan, whatever, the Asmongold of the world. These people are just regurgitating their own thoughts off the TV. It's like, I don't know why people like watching this. You don't know that TV's lying to you. You don't know that your government's lying to you. You don't know that the news might as well be the fourth branch of government and the propaganda wing. Obviously, it's all BS and lies. Look into the history of the occult and how it runs this nation and how it's based in Kabbalah, which is where this whole letters and numbers things come from. And then you'll start to really understand what's going on, something we've achieved and mastered a long time ago, and for it been shadow banned and had the channel deleted 20-some times, and now can't even hardly get any views. So it's just annoying to watch these YouTube celebrities that have been propped up by the system get all the coverage for this, and they're not telling anybody anything that matters. Like, Hassan's got a million views going, how can Trump be saying, you know, this is to achieve peace as we drop bombs? It's like, yeah, no shit. Is that worth getting a million views over? That doesn't do anything for us. Why isn't he talking about this? And that's a rhetorical question. Again, it's because he's part of the system. He's related to the Young Turks, part of the propaganda. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. And until next time, Truth Seeker.